2, 1.
Move this out of the way so you can get better.
Yeah, okay. Now this is one of the largest emporia of antique lighting in the world.
This is our first time in, so...
Want to look around? Sure.
Yeah.
Now, this particular bulb that we're looking at over here, Stephen, it is Stephen, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you've got one of the largest varieties of antique bulbs, and I'm just looking through them over here, literally in not only the valley, but probably in the entire LA region, probably on the entire west coast of the United States. Tell us a little bit about these antique light bulbs. They produce a completely different light, do they not?
Yes, they're basically designed to be replicas of like older style bulbs. Like this one here is called the 1890 Edison bulb, also known as carbon filament bulbs.
Right.
So they're replicas of the original light bulbs.
Right.
And they basically go by years and styles. They don't produce a lot of light. They're more for atmosphere.
Yeah.
They're not very efficient, but they give a nice soft glow. And they look really great in antique fixtures. They're used a lot in the motion picture and television.
Well, you've got a lot of experience in that, because you've got some of the biggest lighting designers in Hollywood buying lights from you, haven't you?
That's correct. Yeah, they use them a lot in commercials and films and things.
And for the uninitiated, you know, say for example, if a lady was looking at these bulbs, what would you recommend for sort of a normal-sized dining room? You know, what would be your sort of starter light pack? You know, which is the one that the majority like because of the light and the warmth potentially.
The most popular one is this one right here. That's called also the Marconi. They've just given it a different name, or the Victorian. Those are real popular. We call it the squirrel cage because it kind of looks like a squirrel cage.
Okay.
They come in 60 watt, and then they come in a 30 watt.
Okay. That's very pretty.
They're not producing anywhere near that amount of light, but they're just kind of like a glow.
So a 30 watt, what would that be the equivalent of in terms of a you know, a normal modern light bulb? So if that's 30 watt, what would that output for modern terms?
About 10 or 15 watts. It's just a nice glow.
So it's about 40 to 50%, broadly speaking.
Exactly, less than half than a normal bulb.
Okay, and these bulbs, what do they run to? They're a little bit more expensive than the regular bulbs, aren't they? Because they're a lot more difficult to manufacture.
They've actually gotten cheaper. They range from $12.95 for something like this,
right,
up to about $22 for the Edison bulb. This is a true carbon filament. This is the Edison bulb.
That is the first light bulb design that Edison actually came up with way back in the 60s or whatever it was.
Something like that, yeah.
All right.
But the reason why that one's so much more is because that is actually it's a carbon filament. It's not a tungsten filament. It's actually a piece of carbon, so it's a lot more expensive to make.
And I can see that it's got a little thing on the top over there. Looks like it's been hand blown.
Right. They call it the Edison bulb.
All right. Now, what's this one over here? This strange-looking oblong bulb over there. Is that an antique as well?
Well, that's just another. You know, it's an older style. They've kind of expanded them. Traditionally, they've only had like a few different kinds. Now they're getting in some different shapes. They're not necessarily replicas of older bulbs. But a lot of people like that soft glow, and they like that antique look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different form of light, isn't it, really?
Sure, yeah. Most people don't have any idea what a bulb looked like in the 1800s. So the manufacturers have come up with some different shapes.
So they're sort of retro styling.
Exactly, retro.
Now, in terms of the amount of light, are all of these lights roughly about 40 to 60% of what a normal bulb would be? So that if somebody's buying it online now and they were thinking that they would need something in the region of about 4 or 5, 60 or 70 watts, then what they would need is perhaps 10 of these antique bulbs to get the same sort of light?
You're not gonna use it for actual lighting.
Yeah. It's effect.
It's an effect. It's a look.
Right.
You wouldn't light your dining room with them. It would take. It'd be really
far too many. So basically, if you've got some ambient lighting, then you would use these to accent perhaps a table display or in a chandelier or something of this nature. Oh, gotcha.
A lot of bars are using them now. They hang them over the bars to give it an effect.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know?
So people that are designing commercial buildings should really have a look at this. How long do they last? Do they last as long as modern bulbs, or?
No, they have an incredibly long life, because basically what you're doing is you're dimming the bulb. You're basically taking the bulb and giving it a lot less power. So in other words, the filament is designed for a lot more than 120 volt. So they have a tendency to last an incredibly long time, 4 to 5 times longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As long as that. Okay, so if you're doing a design with something like that, and it's in an inaccessible place, this bodes well for your design, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In other words, even though this bulb costs $12, let's say it lasts 10 times as long. A regular bulb is, say, $1.50.
Yeah.
So there's,
Absolutely.
so they last an incredibly long time.
Now, is there anything else for the antique bulb lover that you have other than these bulbs over here that you'd like to recommend?
This is pretty much, there are some other...
I mean, there's a fairly wide variety over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, nearly 10 styles over there.
Right, and there's actually some other ones that we don't display just because...
You haven't got the room.
We haven't got the room, and this is more of a theme. These all kind of look the same.
Sure. Now, if anybody's got any questions, just give us a call.
Absolutely.
And you can recommend designs and arrangements as you have done for some of the big Hollywood movies, eh?
Sure. We can explain them what other people have done with them, what they've used them in, and they're very popular. I mean, a lot of people like that older.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the older homes, Victorian homes, they like that look.
Sure. Well, Steve, thanks very much indeed, and
you're welcome.
Bye for now.